Hi, Dr. Ziggy here again, and behind the camera we have my brand manager, Matt.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, we're going to do something different because while I was away, there was a scientific study published March 2025, so 3 weeks ago, that analyzed or compared human-generated memes versus AI-generated memes, and it looked at which ones were funnier, more shareable, and more, what was the third?
Creative.
More creative, that's right. So three categories. So the paper that was published was called "One Does Not Simply Meme Alone, Evaluating Co-Creativity Between LLMs and Humans in the Generation of Humor." 3 researchers published this paper, 1 based in Sweden, 2 based in Germany, and it was published in ACM International Conference on Intelligent User Interfaces. And for our channel, this is excellent because we've been reviewing memes for a while. We've been reviewing memes on AI and AI generated memes. So now we have science to back our channel up. Let me talk about this particular study. What these scientists did was that they took 3 groups. 50 people in one group were asked to create memes around 3 topics: work, food, and sports. And they were given templates, standard meme templates. So the Success Kid, Boromir, Doge, Futurama, and Toy Story. Then there was a second group, 50 other people who were tasked with collaborating with AI, ChatGPT-4, and they were asked to ask AI to bounce ideas off each other. So AI said, give me some ideas for a work-related meme around this template, around Futurama template, and then ideas would bounce around and they would select the top idea for that particular meme. So that was the second group, and there were 50 of them. From the first group, more than 300 memes were created. In the second group, more than 300 memes were created. In the third group, these scientists asked AI to generate text for these particular templates. The AI generated 150 different combinations, different memes between work, food, sports, and these templates. From our previous videos, we have analyzed AI-generated memes, and these AI-generated memes were memes that were created from scratch. So they were memes where the image and the text were created. If you look at our past videos, you will see that sometimes the text is garbled, sometimes the image doesn't make sense. So this was a little bit of an easier task for the AI because the template was already provided and the AI was just asked to create the text. The findings of this study were that generally AI was the funniest, generally speaking, which is interesting. I'll talk about that in a second. However, the top memes, the exceptional memes, were created by humans. That's the general study. I haven't seen these memes, and this is where it gets interesting because I've asked Matt to curate, find the top ones, find the worst ones, and show them to me so I can review them. So the reviewers were a different sample of people, 100 people, were asked to give a score, a relative score, between 0 and 100. And then the scores were collected together. So that was shown, subsample of memes. And then from all these 100 people, rankings of different types of memes were given for funniest, most shareable, and most creative. All right, so I have to review the meme and then guess whether they were created by purely humans, human plus AI collaboration, or just AI. All right, let's go. First meme. All right, this is Success Kid. I love Success Kid. Success Kid is great. And there are articles out there on the internet that talk about where he is now. You can see the photos of him now. I think he's like 20 years old or something. Success Kid. A cop pulled up and said, "Papers." I said, "Scissors." And he drove off. Okay, that is very funny. I reckon that's been created by a human. Yeah. So funniness factor is basically 60 out of 100. That's the average score, 60. Creativity, 51. Shareability, 46. Awarded 4th funniest. Oh, so there are funnier ones. That was really good. But yeah, It's interesting that I picked that it was generated by a human. I guess I don't hold AI in high regard. I think because humor is nuanced. It's very, very nuanced. It's not, robotic, and mechanical where you can sort of work with logic. It's quite nuanced. So that's why I went with it. It's like the new frontier for AI to try to tackle and master, which is why this scientific study is interesting. Yeah, so, all right, anyway, moving on. Toy Story, great. I just watched Toy Story with my godchild in Ireland. She's 5 years old. She watched it for the first time. Anyway, I'm a proud godfather. Right. That moment when your co-worker says they need help, but really wants you to do their job, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's not funny, but it's pretty good. I'm going to guess that AI created this, or like a collaboration generated by AI.
I'm impressed that you got that one.
Yeah,
because
man.
I thought that was really humanly relatable.
Yeah, right. No, I think AI is, this is like a robotic kind of mechanical. It's not top tier.
But even the image made me relate to that text, because it's like, to me, Buzz is that co-worker. And Woody's like, oh,
Sure.
great, where's this going?
That's not a very hard thing for AI to do in this day and age. If they were to generate a completely fresh image, I'd be impressed. But yeah. So Funniest 61, it was awarded the first funniest, there you go, for the AI generated ones. Right. And then the fourth most shareable. Yeah, okay, so creativity 48, shareability 50. Yeah, okay. All right, 61, so it's more or less the same. It's a little bit funnier than the first one. All right, next one. Good, Futurama, love it. When it's only 10 a.m, but you've already been at work for 5 hours. Okay, not super funny.
Very relatable.
Very relatable, right? So shareability might be up there, right? I could imagine myself, if I had a night shift somewhere, and I could imagine myself sharing this with a mate of mine who's got the same sentence for IT night shift somewhere,
And also the relatability of the text to the image. Like the first two we've looked at so far, the text really did relate to the image in some context. Like there was the Buzz and Woody where they looked like the co-workers. We got this one where he looks tired, or he could be skeptical, but in this context he's tired. And the first one, which I've already forgotten, success kit.
Yeah.
One, boom.
Yeah. So let's have a look at it. Was collaboration, right? Human AI bounced ideas off each other and they came up with this. Second funniest, first most creative in this category, first most shareable. That's pretty weak if that's first most creative. But this goes to show, right, that when you sample from the general population, you're not going to get top tier memes. That's a flaw of the study. We could improve on this. This is the way science works. Someone publishes a paper and then another group looks at the paper and says, I can improve on that. Maybe we should get some world-renowned meme creators and do a proper study where you take demographic information into consideration and come up with something funny. Next one. Success kit. POV. Meeting a rival fan. Yeah, same as last one. I can't see this being human generated. It's either collaboration or AI. Ah, damn, human awarded. Okay, well that makes sense. So 1 out of 100 score for funniest, which is why this is one of those dad jokes, right? This is one of those where your dad comes up with something and then he publishes it on Facebook and you're like, oh man, what are you doing? Yeah.
I wonder if there was at least one person who was like, I'm going to screw with the results of this study and make it the least funny and the least shareable memes.
Yeah, you never know. They were paid to participate in this study, I think $15. So there was financial incentive, which is important for a scientific study. If people do it for free, then they don't really make an effort. So that is an important thing.
What is it exactly that makes this unfunny?
I mean, humor is nuanced, right? Like, how do you classify? Like, this is why it's a new frontier for AI. How do you explain humor, right? How do you explain that this is not funny? It's funny, but it's not funny, right?
It's the context of the text in relation to the image. That image usually represents succeeding at something. And when I look at this, I'm like, POV, meeting a rival fan. I'm assuming this is in a sports context.
Yeah.
So is it the rival fan has his fist up because he wants to fight you, or are you happy to meet the rival fan. It took me a while to try and process this.
Yeah, I even think that someone who is not acquainted with memes created this because they don't realize this is a successful kid. Like going, yes, it's more like, I want to fight you kid. He's never seen a meme in his life. And he's like, a kid wants to fight, so I'm going to put meeting a rival fan, right? It's completely gone from what this meme is, what this template is used for. Yeah, all right, next one. Another success kid, all right. Threw something into the trash can, hit it first try. That's funny. I like this one. How many times does that happen? You're in the kitchen, you're doing something,
absolutely,
you sort of throw something that no one's watching, right? No one's watching, but you throw something behind your head, and it hits. Yes.
Or
just to yourself.
Or it misses, and it bounces off 3 things, and then goes in, and you're like, boom.
Yeah, and no one's watching, but you just went like that. Even in your mind or physically, you did that. Hit it first try. That's funny. Let me think. Threw something to the trash can, hit it first try. I'm going to go for human or human collaboration with this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, human. Once again, all right? Once again, funny 60. Second funniest human created, 4th most creative, and shareability. These are pretty high scores compared to the other ones too. All right, next one. Boromir. Love it. Lord of the Rings. Here we go. One does not simply predict a perfect bracket in March Madness. Okay, here is where demographic information comes in. Now, I have just gotten back from the US and I was there in March. So I learnt just now what March Madness is and what bracket means.
So I had to ask ChatGPT to explain this meme to me.
And what did you gather from this? Did ChatGPT get it right?
Well, why don't we ask her ourselves?
Okay.
The meme in question merges 2 culturally iconic elements, the unpredictable chaos of March Madness and the legendary one does not simply meme template. Originally derived from Boromir's line in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. In the film, Boromir, played by Sean Bean, dramatically warns the Council of Elrond, one does not simply walk into Mordor. This line became meme famous for its tone, pacing, and the sense of gravitas it delivers, even when applied to the most mundane of modern problems. In the AI-generated meme, the text reads, one does not simply predict a perfect bracket in March Madness. March Madness refers to the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament, held every spring in the United States. 68 college basketball teams compete in a single elimination format, and fans try to predict the outcome of every game in what's known as a bracket. Now, predicting a perfect bracket means correctly guessing the winner of every single game, from the first round to the championship. This might sound simple, but it's statistically absurd. The odds of randomly picking a perfect bracket are often cited as 1 in 9.2 quintillion. That's a 9 followed by 18 zeros. Even with some basketball knowledge and strategy, the odds remain astronomical. So this meme works on several levels. First, it uses the serious, ominous tone of Boromir to inject mock drama into the already emotionally charged experience of filling out a March Madness bracket. Second, it draws a parallel between the mythical danger of marching into Mordor and the practical impossibility of predicting an unbroken string of basketball outcomes, both equally unwise endeavors, apparently. In short, the meme is funny because it pretends that trying to predict March Madness is as dangerous and foolish as walking into the dark volcanic wasteland of Sauron's domain. And honestly, for sports fans with money in the office pool, it might just be.
Just one 10-second summary. So I learned just recently what a bracket is. Basically, we call it tipping in Australia. We call it tipping, right? And March Madness is in March all the college basketball players. And it's crazy because there's like 2 games every night or 3 games every night, every single day, and people sit in front of the TV every night and watch this. So it is madness. But if you're not from America, you wouldn't know this at all. And I only learned this last month, and if you had shown me this meme, I would have been completely blanked. So how valid is this? I suspect this was one of the worst memes, because if people are outside of America, and most of the people would have been outside of America from this study, this would have to have low scores. Generated by humans or AI, this one's a hard one to pick. I'd say it's human because it's very demographically centered. So it would have to be human or AI, human collaboration. I think AI would be more general. It wouldn't focus on one topic that is very centered in the US. So it is generated by AI. Very interesting. you can see that it's not funny. Funniness score is 8 out of 100 on average. Creativity, shareability is 7. So nobody would share this at all. But it's generated by AI. Yeah, okay. Very, very interested. Maybe because most of the data used to train LLMs is US based, and that's why AI went for. This is a flaw in them not taking demographic information. Perhaps in America they would lol very hard at this and would rank this highly, whereas we, and myself included, would be like, this is stupid, let's move. Come here. Look, that's our cat. You should be in a meme too. Hey. This is CowCat, and she's beautiful. I don't know why she's come to explore, but there you go. Alright, next one. Futurama again. Not sure if I'm tired or if this is just my new personality. Okay, that's stupid. Oh, that's not funny at all. Unless I'm missing something, but I don't find that funny at all. This is another dad joke again, so this could be AI. I'm going to say it's human generated. I don't think this is AI generated because AI would be consistent at an average level, whereas we are capable of creating dad jokes. So I'm going to say this is like human or AI collaboration. Oh, generated by AI. That makes me feel good on the inside that AI is just not funny, it's stupid. Actually, why is this fourth funniest? How did this get some... Not sure if I'm tired or if this is just my new personality. Funniness 56. Matt, am I getting old? Am I missing a reference?
It must be just, I don't know, relatability. Like, I'm sure, especially if you work some kind of customer service job, there'd be so many people who feel like, the more I do this job, the more of a shit person I become.
Yeah, maybe. I don't find this funny at all, man. I could do better. Next one. When you score a goal, but you realise it's your own goal. Yeah, nah. That's a flop, man. I mean, let's have a look. Generated by a human. Fourth is fun, thank goodness, because that's just a flop. When you score a goal, what you realise, it doesn't even fit the meme. Like, it's, yeah. And this is why you don't randomly sample from the population to create memes. All right, next. Not sure if I'm full or just leaving room for dessert. All right, that's still not funny. I mean, I'm not lolling. I'm not sharing with everyone on Facebook because I'd be embarrassed to share this, but I can relate to this. So, once again, I reckon it's human generated, I reckon. Let's have a look. Generated by AI, third most shareable in that category. Those are high scores. Funniness, creativity, shareability. Yeah, look. I can see that. All right, next one. The Doge dog. Here we go. I haven't had one of these yet. When you're trying to be healthy, but someone brings dessert. Another food category one. Look, Matt, there's better. There's like that fat cat one, the heavy breathing one, right? That's what I would use for this, right? When you're trying to be healthy, but someone brings dessert, heavy breathing. This one is just a dog looking at you askew.
I guess out of the control group, if you had made that text, that would be the control group of images that were allowed to be used. Yeah, I still don't think it's funny. I wouldn't be sharing this. I don't think it's funny. It could be anybody. I've got one wrong with AI. I'm going to go AI-human collaboration. Yeah, nice. I've got that one. Fourth funniest, fourth most creative, third most shareable, man. I really, really like this particular study. However, it does have its flaws. Now, 2 flaws I would like to talk about. The first flaw is that creating humor is very nuanced and very specific, right? It is a talent, it is an art. Not everyone is a comedian, right? Not everyone can create. So is it a valid study to go and randomly sample 50 people and ask them to create something funny? It's like asking 50 people to paint something or create a drawing and then compare that with AI. If you're trying to find whether the general population is funnier than AI, then that's okay. But what we want is to compare the best of painters and book writers
and the best of anything else versus AI, because we're trying to get AGI here and super intelligence and whatnot. So getting 50 random people is not, I mean, I can't draw for peanuts. If you were to ask me to draw something, it'd be stick figures. So AI is going to kill me. It's going to absolutely kill me, and I don't think that's what we're aiming for. The second major flaw is that demographic information was not taken into account. I mean, I've lived in 5 countries, and I know that humor in different parts of the world is vastly different. If you reference something that is specifically only not known in a country, no one else is going to get that reference. So, we play Dungeons and Dragons together, Matt, and we have an Italian girl in our group. And how often have we cracked, just simply Australian stuff? We've dropped Australian references and quotes from famous films like The Castle and whatnot, and she just sits there blankly looking at us, and we're rolling on the floor laughing. The jokes don't translate, right? So if you're asking people to create humor and they're going to use these cultural references, the rest of the people are not going to understand that unless they're from that particular culture or that particular demographic group. So out of the 50 that created memes, they were from 30 different countries. And then in the second group, out of those 50, they were also from 29 different countries. So they're going to be creating cultural references here that are going to be missed. It's a shame, because sometimes when we crack jokes that are purely Australian, they're top tier jokes.
Of course.
By the way, I have to mention that the 2 flaws that I discussed, the authors of the paper actually acknowledged that. So they acknowledge that it's not a perfect study. And this is how academia works, right? They're the first people to come up with a study like this. And then they say, right, these are some flaws. So general funniness and the whole idea of demographic information not being taken into consideration, they acknowledge that. So kudos to the authors, and hopefully you're watching. Cool. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.